your players.
Although now a successful and imaginative skipper, Border had been tagged in some quarters Captain Grumpy.
He got the Captain Grumpy tag because he was fed up with Australia losing. He took it as a personal insult, and he decided to do something about it. He didn't walk away, and that's when he started changing around. And he deliberately had this, we're too friendly with the opposition, we're going to be tough, we're going to take our wives on tour, we'll bring them out at the end and all this stuff, and he was determined to make it, and it happened.
Oh, Allan Border's Captain Grumpy. Don't worry about that. He can deliver a rocket better than anyone else in the world. I remember this game. I dropped the catch out on just in front of the Sydney members, and it was a pretty easy one. I dropped it. It was a pretty tough time. 2 balls later, the guy whips it off his leg. He picked it up and threw the guy down, so it didn't cost us anything. And we all ran in and patted him on the back, and he was ruthless. And he had the teapot out, the hands on the hips, and looked at me right down the barrel and said, "Don't you want to win? You gutless, weak so-and-so, don't you want to win?" And I thought, he can deliver a rocket. I wanted to win, but obviously he wanted to win more than me. And that's the level that we needed to know.
Here we are, Allan Border, still poised, 4 runs away from the all-time record.
He epitomised what it's about. You don't care what he looks like. He's out there, he'll bite you. He's just a junkyard dog. He's not the greatest looking bloke in the world. It happens. But I tell you what, he's got a bite like a Rottweiler. And no one liked bowling to him because he didn't care whether he looked great or looked good. He would still punch out a 40 when it was tough. And when he was in, he'll make 100 plus, as we know. He was a great player.
Marvellous effort from this wonderful cricketer. All-time record for Test runs.
I remember batting with Ian Healy at the time. Heels came up to me and said, "What's all the fuss? Why is everyone clapping? 50, 100? What's going on?" And I said, "Oh, that's the record." He said, had this blank look on his face, was saying, "Record? What are you talking about?" I said, like world record runs, mate. And he sort of gave it, "Oh, sorry, mate," and shook my hand. So it wasn't a huge moment in Ian Healy's life, but that's how sort of low key. That particular milestone sort of came and went, which is a bit unfortunate. I think if it had happened in Australia against the West Indies, making runs at Adelaide or Perth like I wish I could have, that would have been a big deal, but unfortunately it wasn't to be.
Australians admired his blunt, direct manner. His teammates revered his limitless determination and tenacity.
He was off the field quite laid back. On the field, very, very competitive. Really wanted to win and wanted the best from his players, particularly as he grew in the role as captain. Became a tough taskmaster, which you have to be if you're a successful captain.
He might not have been the most pleasing on the eye, but when's that ever mattered on a scorecard? I mean, he had an ability to eke out runs at times when wickets were falling all around him, where some of the great West Indian fast bowlers just had him zigging past his ears.
Seems to me he was a pretty tough taskmaster and was very, very loyal to those that went to bat with him. He used to get very upset when the selectors left one of his players out of the side. So I've got a huge admiration for Allan Border. I think he was a wonderful cricketer, and I think he did a lot for Australian cricket.
Allan Border had all the determination and grit you had to have to survive and flourish in the Test arena. And I was lucky enough, my first debut was against Allan Border's Australian side in England in 1993, and he gave it to me. He made me feel under pressure, he made me feel uncomfortable, but when I walked off with a second innings 100, he was the first one to come up and shake my hand and say, "Well played, young man."
He finished with a total of 11,174 Test runs, at a champion's average of more than 50.
When you look at his record, Test average of over 50, and what a reception to what could be his final innings in Test cricket.
He was one of the greatest fighters I've ever known, and every captain should leave some sort of legacy for other players. Well, Border's legacy was never give up.
Allan Border entered the Australian team when it was close to its lowest ebb. When he left it more than 15 years later, Australia was poised to enter a golden age.
Yeah, the foundations were laid, you know, in those hard years, say 84 to 87, and then from there, you know, you reap the rewards. So just sort of coincided with probably my best cricket was between that period.
I think that we should give Allan Border a lot of credit for building Australian cricket back, for getting that little bit of bulldog back into the Australian cricket team, because if those around him didn't do it, he always was there.
Not only Border the batsman, but Border the captain, and the reluctant captain initially, who would then grow into the role, I think is as important, or perhaps even more important, than any other cricketer in modern Australian history.
I'd also AB started it. And as a player, well, over 11,000 runs, averaging over 50, all around the world.
5 years after his retirement, an official Australian Cricketer of the Year award was introduced, to be known as the Allan Border Medal.
Well, it's a perpetual trophy. In 50 years' time, people will be winning the Allan Border Medal. So from that point of view, it's, you know, one of the more special, you know, accolades and achievements that I can think of.
Border was not the most talented batsman to play for Australia, nor was he the greatest left-hander to play the game. His enduring success was imposed by a force of will, an inexhaustible courage, and unquenchable desire to win. These are the qualities that set Allan Border apart and elevated him into the top 25 amongst ESPN's legends of cricket.